Hey guys, so this is the update video for the completed branch version 0.1.8.3. You can see I've already started work on the next branch, but I'll just be going over these elements here. What I'll do is I'll put it like, I don't think I can shrink that bit. I'll put it like that, but kind of get them all on one line so you just can see what's going on. Okay, so the top one, so upgrading the weapon and ammo system to version 2. So that is the weapons, the ammo, the fire mode, the change ammo, and the reload. So I believe I already did an ammo on weapons, at least an ammo video that went into I think it's like 22 minutes or something, went into a fair bit of detail. So I'll just gloss over this just to keep up with so you know what's going on. So currently for me, a chunk of the logic is all held on the tick. So start from top to bottom. So grade that. We'll look at the weapon system first. So on consume, it feeds through. I'll just get rid of that so you can see it a bit more. Featured this sort of logic. So your currently equipped weapon is the equipped, which is in the character. So you put a weapon into that slot you see right there. That, you want me to do that? Equipped weapon. So that's that item, pulls the item info, sets it into a global variable, or at least a not a local variable. So like a variable that the full program can use. So it should be called a local if it's using these usual logic. Internal name, kind of redundant now, but kept it just so I don't need to do lots of changes all in one big file swoop. Currently equipped weapon name, that is that, so there. And then the rest of it is, that's just a call event off the back of this event dispatcher, which feeds it to the game instance. So that allows me to persist it between not only level to level load going through a door, but also there like save to load. I went through event dispatches in a couple of videos earlier. So if we just go back to consume, so do they not match? Which they won't match because last equipped is empty when you first play it. And yeah, so if true, so they won't match and it won't be empty the moment you've got a weapon in. Then last equipped weapon name, adds it into there. That equipped weapon info is that, which is that variable. I'll just close that now. So it pulls from that. There's loads of information, but I didn't need it all. I just needed the ammo capacity, the ammo types, and the ammo for each ammo type, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, this I'll gloss over it really quickly now. I'm taking a bit too long. Top bit. If you've already used this weapon, it's going to be in this. It's going to be in this list. So if it's going to be in this list, then pull the ammo from the ammo map because it's already in the list. So it'll already have an ammo map information because you've already pulled this and fed it into the ammo maps. So we don't need to come from this and do like default variables. The print strings and these sort of things are just, I can get rid of them now. It's just testing. And then regardless of if you've used a weapon before and you go down this route, or you haven't and you go down this route and pull in the fresh details, it still pulls in the weapon damage, probably redundant now. Not using a modifier yet. Pulls in that initial fire mode, so like the PDW in is best and full auto. So the moment you put the PDW back in, it'll say best, regardless of if you when you got rid of it, when you swapped the weapon out, you left it on full auto. Might change that further down the line. Ammo capacity goes to max ammo, so max amount of bullets you can fit in your magazine. Current ammo is the ammo pool, or the max ammo to the maximum of the ammo pool. I've already gone over loads of this before in the video. If you've got 20 rounds in your ammo pool and your max ammo is 100, then it's only ever going to be 20 because it's capped to what actual ammo you have in your capacity. Then it just dumps that into a map, last ammo types. Looks here, unused ammo, really useful because if you've still got 3 rounds in your magazine and then you swap it out and you swap back, this bit of logic here sees that you still keep those 3, you still only got 3 rounds in your magazine. It doesn't magically go to like full capacity if you've got enough ammo in the ammo pool. And again, just event dispatchers to feed this information to the game instance. That is on consume, which then goes to unused ammo. Probably could put this into on consume now, but unused ammo is look at your current ammo, flag it as the last ammo type. Current ammo goes to unused ammo, so I was talking about those extra bullets. Put that unused ammo into this map, and then that's the last ammo pool, and then it just logs it. This works when you have like kinetic ammo and you switch to armor piercing ammo in the same gun. It will store all that kinetic ammo, your last ammo thing. Good news is it's I guess you'd say reproducible. So if you had 100 weapons and each had 100 weapon ammo types, what that's like 100 times 100, it would store every single one of those weapons, every single one of those respective ammo types for each of those weapons, all fine. So it just, yeah, it's really cool. So then that's that. We've got the fire mode. Updating that was relatively straightforward here. So I didn't even change this bit actually. This bit I just swapped it to current equipped weapon, which sort of gets flagged when you dump that weapon into that equipment slot. The change ammo. Originally, the change ammo was doing a reload, and I said I didn't like it because if you've got half a magazine's full of ammo and you change ammo to the other ammo type, and then you change back, it would by default in its current state reload and change. But that seems ridiculous to me because if you're swapping back ammo types, you haven't magically added more bullets into your mag. So essentially, reload and a change ammo type are 2 distinct functions now. So reload pulls the information. That is just a toggle. Already gone much more detail into the weapon video, but yeah, if you've only got 2 ammo types, so you've got 0 and 1. You started on kinetic 0, armor piercing is 1, second ammo type, so add 1. If you're already at armor piercing, then default back to 1 because that's the maximum, that goes beyond the maximum length. So it toggles between 0, 1, 0, 1, kinetic armor piercing, pulls it through, pulls information through. That's why I think the weapon damage is redundant in on consume now because I've got it, I set it on the ammo. Then just triggers reload. Expanded this a bit. This kind of covers also holster versions, not holster version 3. Oh no, it's still under this. So the top one. Let me just highlight it just so it keeps track. So what we've got here. So if you change your ammo, and you don't have 0 bullets in your magazine, then you just change your ammo. So if you had 5 rounds left, you'd have 5 rounds left, and you go back to that ammo type for that weapon. It also works if you swapped weapons, swapped ammo types, bunch of different, key presses to test it. Still remembers everything individually. If it is 0, then do the original way of change ammo and reload, because you wouldn't change ammo and then change it back if you had 0 bullets in that clip. You'd you know what I mean? You just wouldn't do that. At least you ideally wouldn't want to do that. So then, yeah, it's just got that little check to see if it's 0. If you've got bullets in it, just change it. If you haven't, change it and reload it. Bottom bit is just a basic reload. That feeds it to the event dispatcher again. Each one of these needs to be populated each time. If I did that as null, like if I did like that, that wouldn't be a lack of information to feed. That would feed it as 0. So in each one of these event dispatches you make, you need to make sure if you're not going to wire up a variable, you either need to hard code it if that's what you're doing, or that is expected functionality. That's why I split so many up, because you see health might change but stamina might stay the same, and I don't want to keep on feeding health every time stamina changes. I don't want to keep on feeding infection every time stress changes. So that's why it's split like that. So that is the top one that's changed. I talked about that toggling, so the next one, between weapons and ammos, and occasionally you pour into the wrong pool. It was something to do with on consume, where I wasn't one of the variables was like jumping ahead of the game, or like other variables, so that's fixed. That is kind of related to that, but that's fixed as well. Version 2 to version 3 shooting, so I'll show you in game. The line trace kind of works, but the bullets don't go from where I'm pointing. They did in version 1, but I'm in the process of doing a full upgrade. So you see, no longer it shrinks it like in that shooting video. It now got the version 2, and reload is the version. Well, it's now got the version 3 animations, version 3 sprites, and for all of it. Yeah. And then same again. So these are just rough sprites. My plan is version 1 was 35 by 35 pixels, version 2 was 70 by 70, the level version 2 that you saw in that weapon video. This is version 3, 140 by 140, and then version 4 will just be a refinement of 140 by 140. The current only thing that's 140 by 140 right now is the player. Everything else is 70 by 70. So that'll all get upgraded. That's the shooting and reload animations. Realised I haven't showed you the reload animation for the handgun. So you got like that, you go like that, you go unholster, reload. There we go. And he looks down and does all that nifty stuff. Line trace workaround. It was originally, it broke between a branch, and I think I remember the issue now. I can show you the issue here in event begin play on tick. Where is it? On tick here. I check to see whether you've got a controller. So I've got an Xbox controller, and if you've got one, it pulls connected, else disconnected. If I go to line trace, see I've detached it so it only uses mouse logic. So if connected, then use the controller logic, otherwise use the mouse logic. The problem is, by default, when I first play the game and I first load it up, connected is the default thing. And then if I connect the Xbox controller, it stays connected. Disconnect the Xbox controller, it then goes disconnected. The issue with that is, by default, it's connected. So by default, but the controller isn't connected, so it's causing a mismatch with how line trace needs to work. That was the original bug. In terms of the bullets, the projectile's not following the line trace. I just need to upgrade the projectile blueprint to work with like the version 2 logic. So that's the temp workaround, because I haven't got the projectiles pointing where I want. And when I go to another level, I'll just show you. Go to another level. See right now, it aims at the end of the weapon. If I go to another level, the end is stuck in the previous level. So yeah, that's why it's a temp workaround. It's not perfect. Make ammo and weapons persistent. So show you another quick thing. Don't worry about that. That's just a little blueprint I need to upgrade at some point. So what we got? First V. Let's change it to a piercing. F also gives you experience points. This functionality. So right now, you got 4 and 50. See, it doesn't reload automatically. It swaps the ammo back in. I got that. I got 16 There we go. Reloads on empty. So remember 21, 25, 16. We go in here. It will forget the ammo thing's already open, but I can fix that. So 16. See, so it still remembers the numbers, it's just a bit out of sorts with making the ammo widget persistent. But you want to see something cool. Because I've done that holster transition, rather than just having holster and holster, so rather than just looking like that, I haven't upgraded the movement version of it. It's like a smooth thing. If I press holster halfway through unholstering, look at that, pops it back in no matter what step. Right, let's get away from the zombies. So that's that one. Load and save inventory. Yeah, so this was a bit of a nightmare. But I got it working. So collect everything. Let's go into another room. Remembered. Let's save it. Let's load up another save. There we go. You see, so I've got it to remember what you've got on your save. So I only picked up one medkit on this save. I picked up nothing on this save. I picked up these things on that save. On the auto save, that was that last one you saw. Like, so every time you leave a room to another room, that's an auto save. Yeah, so it remembers that. That's all good. What else we got? Holster version 3. Yeah, so holster version 3. I can't remember if I might have done a video on this one. What's changed, I have put the initial part of the holster into a function. So if it is already holstered, yes, then triggered is holstered, no. So that's when he starts taking the gun out. Fire that event to the game instance, just so the game instance can keep track of whether your weapon's in your hands or on your back, or like in your holster, and feeds out as a, well, it's not holstered anymore, so it feeds it out. I could probably just do that as well, for example. So that, and then if it's unholstered, then trigger the holster logic, and then it goes, hey, it's going to be holstered. So when you go to the next level, when you save and load the game, I want you to keep it holstered. I want you to keep it unholstered. Let's pop out a step. Feeds that in. Yep. So then I should really swap these around. But is holstered true? Okay, so it's just holstered. So that's when he rather than it just appearing on his back, it does that. Uses a different flip book to show it slowly come. He starts folding the stock back, folding the stock in, and then before he puts it on his back, and then just holstered false, so that it stops that animation, and then it just becomes holstered, and then that is when it's on his back, and that's just the reverse of it. Same logic as version 2, which I showed before. Here, that equipment weapon ammo, equipped weapon ammo, you saw that it triggers in that variable in the equipped weapon, or that thing, equipped item, the function, pulls that information through, uses that variable. I've stored the time to unholster and time to holster here in the actual weapons blueprint. So it's like 1.5 seconds and like 1.35 for the PDW, the personal defense weapon, so the SMG. That feeds a delay. The reason why the whole thing isn't in a function is because you can't put delays in functions. So you see I've done the first bit as a function, pulled it out from the function here, and then I put the ammo widget into 2 functions. So if you've just taken out the weapon, it's going to be not valid because you haven't made it yet. So then make it. If you haven't just pulled out the weapon, then just use the widget you've already got. So that's to create it, and then the toggle is it visible right now? So if you've got your weapon out and hence that thing becomes visible, then yeah, then hide it. Otherwise, make it non-hit testable. So it's what that means is visible, but it doesn't, you can't click on it, you can't drag it, it doesn't block other functionality with the mouse. And then just the visibility here, because you know when you create it, I haven't set visibility, you create it, then set visibility. I look into this to get it to work, where it keeps the visibility when you transition to another level or a load save. Yeah, but that's 3. That's holster 3. That one. Inventory persistent between levels. So you saw that when I walked through it. I'll show it very quickly again, because you saw it persistent through saves. But I suppose you saw it persistent through the level because I had to go to that to save it. Yeah, it is a save bucket at the moment. It will be a proper save room. I just wanted to split it apart. So you need to go to this to allow save to work, because normally you wouldn't be able to get the save menu. So you see it's all grayed out, the save option. So you wouldn't get this menu normally. So you'd only ever get it when you go in that room. Okay, so that's that one. Migrate to current save and auto save to include inventory data. Yeah, so we've got here, we've got load. So this is expanded quite a bit. So now we get the load slot as you saw before, but here arrays, if you saw my event dispatches video, you can't put arrays in event dispatches. Does not like it. It gives you a little blue note, kind of like normally pops up like under here, saying, hey, we're not going to feed this information through even if it'll work. So I do it the old-fashioned way, where rather than using a call to an event dispatcher to feed it to the game instance, I just set it, get the game instance, set the game instance's variable, and I feed it straight into the game instance. That gets round event dispatcher logic. It also gets round the fact that what you see here are inventory variables. So actually, all these are inventory variables, but these variables are triggered when you make the inventory. So if I show you, when you make it, see like amount of slots, slots per row, obtained, visible duration, and the hotkeys, that's made on creation. But the other variables are made inside the inventory. So if I just get that to show you quickly, these videos are always a fair while because I'm just going through a branch change. You see, so when the inventory is made, it uses the event dispatcher to pull that current credits from the game instance, which you saw where you just said current credits, store it to the game instance. I can't use a call because there's no point, me pulling information from the inventory system to flow back into the protagonist, this blueprint, to flow into the game instance, to then flow back into the protagonist, to flow back into the inventory system. This way, I flow straight to the inventory, the game instance, which flows straight to the inventory system. That's why the event dispatchers are on the inventory system for these rather than the event dispatchers for the current blueprint, so the main character blueprint. So that feeds that in, does that. The way I get the array logic to work is game instance is bonded to the character on creation. You saw here with the game instance set as a game instance. The inventory spawned connected to the protagonist, so they are related by both being connected to the protagonist. So then here, I just say protagonist, game instance, the item slots that we stored in this load, feed that, well, stored it in the save, but the load also pulls from it as well, this game instance, feed that into these variables in the inventory system. So like these here, like collected pickups, that one is that one and that one, and that's how you get around feeding arrays to create persistence between the levels, because you need to use a game instance to as like a safety thing to like dump your items in, go into the next level, pull from. Event dispatcher video goes into detail about that, and there's like an array addendum one to go through how to get around the array version of it. That is that, and then these calls, I'm calling the event dispatches in the main character, so the protagonist one. Same again, call. These aren't persistent at the moment, so that's why they're like that. I can get rid of those because that's the old-fashioned way, but that wouldn't be persistent through the game instance. Walking through a level to another level, that would only be persistent on a load save. So no good the moment you come through a door. These are like a call where you see all these variables put here. These are bundled into one event dispatcher, which on begin play, going off the back of that video, the other video, on begin play, when you go through a level, it does begin play again. So it runs through all the event dispatches from the game instance, goes, okay, feed that to this, feed that to variable, feed that to variable. And then you get like the ammos and all that stuff. Feed that into this blueprints variables, and then slots pero. That doesn't need to go into these blueprints variables. That just needs to be used to feed to create the inventory correctly. That is the logic between migrate. That's how I migrated the inventory system. Yeah, so that's the inventory system. That used to be called slots, and it took me like 3 hours to frickin' find it because there was a couple of things called slots, and then I realized slots is the actual items you saw in each one of those inventory slots. So yeah, I renamed item slots so I never have that pain again. And then unequipped weapon needs to reset holster event to initial. Yeah. So you saw this before. Version 2 worked fine with like a pop it out, put it back in. Version 3 didn't. It had some weird thing where it went like that and then automatically defaulted to the weapon being out again. And it was because the is holster variable was not was when you were holstering it, the is holster variable didn't go true. Or when you're unholstering it, the is holster variable at the end didn't say false. So that's why it was doing a holstering animation, but then it would reappear in his hands. So that's what that issue relates to. And this is pretty much the video that goes over, yeah, the version 0.1.8.3 changes. I'm actively working on 0.4 now. Yeah, pretty cool stuff, really. It's definitely getting there. I normally just talk about the branch, but giving like a bit of further detail about the whole, the main issue I had was making the inventory system persistent between the levels and the struggle of learning that the game instance isn't the be all and end all because it doesn't like arrays. It can hold arrays and it can feed array information in, like you saw with the I showed you load, didn't I? But then let's do save and autosave. So you can feed it in brilliantly. You see, I get the inventory system to feed it into the save object, and then on load, the save object feeds it into the game instance, and then on the load of the level, the game instance feeds it into the blueprint. So you can do it, you just can't use it through calls, the event dispatches. So yeah, that was a bit of a struggle. And just the concept of it's great to be able to sort items in, keep items persistent, but there was an issue where originally when I got it to work, it would just, if I collected 5 medkits and I saved it, no matter what load I loaded up, it still have 5 medkits. So I needed to make it save related rather than save agnostic, where it's just this is how much you've collected every time you play a new game, load anything up. So that was quite a challenge. I'd say for like Friday and most of Friday, I must have spent about 6 hours working on the inventory system to work. A good chunk of that time was because slots was named slots rather than item slots. But that's over and done with now. The only thing left to really crack in terms of keeping items persistent apart from the storage, which has a couple of quirks, so like this storage here, when I put stuff in, you see, like it does something weird. So I need to work on that. But apart from that, when I change rooms, the equipment slot disappears. So that's one of my key things I'm looking at. So the weapon still works, and it's still got the ammo. If I show you, let's kill these. There we go. So it's still got the ammo. Reload logic. It's just it's not visible in the slot, so it's still flagging it. I need to look at that. When I get the line trace fixed, I will show you the enemy logic. So I know I'm kind of going off topic a little bit, showing you kind of what's going on in the future, but I thought you might be interested if you've looked this far. So let's see, maybe it's in master enemy. Here we go. Here we go. So a while ago in version 1, I coded head collision, chest collision, leg collision. So head collision is a direct 0 health, kill the enemy. I probably could just flag it as a dead, but because I've done that, it works all the same. But I probably could, yeah, just get away with doing it is dead. This is quite old. Chest runs the chance of staggering them, so anywhere between 0 and 3 seconds. Well, on a random integer between maximum 3 if it equals 0, so that's 4, so that's 25% chance, 0, 1, 2, 3, to stunt their speed, and then after a second their speed goes back to normal. And the legs, 25% chance again to stunt their speed again, but legs to completely stop their speed for a second rather than slow them down, completely just halt them for a second. I will, once I've got a fall down logic, which isn't like a death fall down for the enemy, I'll make that fire as well. So then I'll do a fall down, and then I'll just make the fall down be like the amount of times it takes them to get back up. So then they won't just be standing still, they'll just fall down. Yeah, the way that works is I've got the overall thing. Ignore the this. It was version 1, it needs updating. These are still version 2 sprites as well. So 70 by 70 pixels. But you see there's like the overall collision. That's if they're like touching the character, that's when the damage hits. And then you've got like the head. You can do it. Maybe click it the other way. The chest. The legs. So when the line trace works, if the projectile hits the legs, you'll get a word on the top left, print string saying legs. There we go. It'll say head, chest, legs, and that's when you know you've hit them. And further down the line, I haven't really incorporated that, but further down the line, I want to create something where if you kill them, but you don't kill them by shooting them in the head, there'll be a secondary death animation rather than just you shot the head explode there. Then they persist in the world, and then I'll do something like this. I think I'll put it right here. 3% chance of zombies will come back up when you come back into that level. So that'd be like a cool little thing, kind of like Resident Evil 1 remake. Remember, some of the zombies you need to set them on fire, or like you pray that you get a critical headshot to blow the head off to stop them getting back up. So that's sort of cool functionality. There's loads to talk about. There's loads to go into, but that's a whole nother story. This is just this branch that I've snapped off. I've completed. What you say? Like stuck on, grown, and a little bit into the future of like the cool stuff I'd like to do. I made some extra things, but I'll go through that when this branch is the next branch is complete. I'll do another video. And yeah, this was the weapons and ammo branch that kind of spiraled off into a bit of like saves and inventory, cool stuff as well. Lots to do, lots to improve on. Really going good, and yeah, I'll see you next time.